Hi, Collective. Thank you so much for being here with me today. My name is Savannah. This is Step Into Yourself Tarot, and today I have a collective reading for you. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Please like the video. The algorithm is a real thing on YouTube. And honestly, I just want Spirit's messages to reach as many people as possible. Today for your reading, I have some new decks which I'm really excited to use today. But we're going to start off with just some oracles, archetype oracles, just to get an overall energy for the reading, and then we will go from there based on what Spirit is calling me to. So this is the archetype oracle. Spirit, what messages do you have for the collective tonight? Thank you for joining me on a Friday night, if that's when you're watching this. I can't imagine a better Friday night for myself than to spend it with Spirit, with my cards, with you. Today I've been feeling some energy of change. Not sure if that will resonate with any of you, but definitely a feeling of change, of understanding what opportunities those changes may bring. All right, there's one, the medallion. So reaching out our hand. Anima Mundi. Been getting that card a lot, collective. The box. So thinking outside the box. Wow. They are like coming through quickly. The crone. Excellent. Thank you, Spirit. So the medallion. What I'm seeing in this card is an outstretched hand. It's interesting that came up. The outstretched hands came up in, I believe it was Scorpio's reading recently. And in this one, reaching for that medallion, that what I'm seeing in this card is what brings light, what brings hope to your existence. What is surrounded perhaps by darkness, but your hand is outstretched, wanting to secure that medallion, wanting to bring it in. There's that energy of bringing in, and there is an outstretched hand that is vulnerable. It's not constrained. It's not holding back at all. It's outstretched. Then we have the Anima Mundi card, which I always see as a culminating element. It's a culminating energy. It's bringing together all of these different elements: air, water, fire, earth, all within the context of our star, our hope, our joy. What I'm seeing or what I'm receiving right now is perhaps digging into these different elements. Doesn't matter if you're a fire sign, an earth sign, an air sign, water. We all have aspects of these energies, and they can coincide. They can exist in synchronicity. If we allow it, then we have the box. So if we allow it, at the center of the box is what I see as light, as crystal, as awakening, as culmination. similar to your Anima Mundi card, so culmination. If we think outside that box, perhaps these different elements can come together and exist in synchronicity, exist in culmination. Perhaps there doesn't have to be conflicting, they don't have to be conflicting energies, but they can all exist within beauty, within harmony. And then we have the Crone card. This is actually the first time I've gotten this card. But what I'm seeing again is that outstretched hand. But in this card, that outstretched hand is holding on to this blackened bird. The bird looks dirty. Could be potentially a hawk, which would represent wisdom. But then I also see hawks as predatory. But with this hand holding the hawk, I'm not seeing it as predatory. I'm seeing it as those things that perhaps have seemed predatory, we can hold within our grasp. And there's actually all these elements attached to it. So it reminds me of that outstretched hand of the medallion reaching for what could bring light, and it may not appear to be synchronous. It may not appear to seem or to be where I can combine this idea or this image that I've had with synchronicity. But in your medallion card, in your Anima Mundi card, perhaps they all can exist together, but you have to have an outstretched hand. You have to have a willing hand, a willing spirit, a willing energy in order to hold it. In order to experience the synchronicity. But your hand has to be outstretched. Very interesting. Or you can remain in the box where the jewel, the beauty is in the center, but if you don't allow yourself to go through the different pathways to get there, and you keep yourself contained with constricted hands and not outstretched hands, perhaps you never see the synchronicity. Perhaps you never see what could potentially be with these different elements: fire, earth, air, water. And so many times in our lives, we reject what we can't see, right? We just see like, this isn't of my energy, this isn't of my element, this isn't something that I can see myself reaching for. It doesn't look like these different aspects are going to work together. But Spirit is saying you can continue to remain in the box and not see it, and continue walking these paths that don't lead to synchronicity, or you can outstretch your hand, grasp what may seem dark, what may seem dirty, what may seem outside of what you thought you were reaching for. Interesting. I keep finding myself saying that in readings. Interesting, interesting. So I apologize. I will try to stop that. Excellent. So we have some starting energies to work with here. So I think thinking outside the box, reaching for those things that we truly desire, even when they don't look like what we maybe initially thought, or even if we don't see them as synchronous or a synchronicity or as meshing in some way. Perhaps it is, but you have to think outside the box. Excellent. Thank you, Spirit, for those messages. So I got some new cards, as I mentioned, and I'm going to start with, I want to pull some overall energies for this reading besides the archetypes, some overall guidance from Spirit, things that we should just be thinking about as we go through your reading, collective. Show me the collective, Spirit. Show me the collective. Show me the collective and any messages that you have for the collective on this Friday night. Hope you had a wonderful week. I'm glad it's Friday. Show me the collective. Ooh. Show me the collective. What messages? What do you want the collective to know? What do you want the collective to know, Spirit? What do you want the collective to know? All right. Remembrance. So remember, interesting enough, this card reminds me of your medallion, the thing that you're reaching for. You're reaching for the light, and in the remembrance, we also see that. Remembrance. Remember what brings you light, what brings you possibly vision. I'm seeing the Wheel of Fortune here. So time having passed. Awakening. So possibly awakening to that wheel. That's what I keep seeing. The Wheel of Fortune. Awakening to these different choices that we make on our path. Time has passed. There's light represented in both of these cards. So remembering something on our journey that has brought us light, that has brought us some sort of awakening, perhaps to yourself. Let's get one more, Spirit. What else do you want to say about that? Expansion. So expanding into the self, expanding perhaps your ideas, perhaps thinking outside that box that was previously discussed, perhaps looking at things with remembrance, but also expansion. So thinking beyond what looks like potentially is harmful or dark, isn't fitting. Perhaps looking beyond that and reaching for the medallion, which is bright, it's light, it's awakening, it's expansion. Excellent, collective. And so many times in life we can have that mentality, right? Like, this doesn't seem familiar. This isn't how it aligned with my ideas that I had. But oftentimes Spirit shows us our ideas are not what is for our highest good. So consider that, collective. I think Spirit is showing you here. All things will work together if you allow them. If you think outside that box and really think towards what could potentially be that source of value, that source of light, all things can work together and be synchronous. You just have to reach for it. You have to see that even those things that don't seem like they align, you can hold them and all the elements can still come together. But it requires remembrance, perhaps of past lives, perhaps of messages that you've received, your intuition, awakening, light. So coming to an understanding, coming to an awakening, and expanding beyond the beliefs that we've held. This is beautiful, collective. I love this. So now, collective, I'm gonna pull some tarot for you and just see what other messages Spirit has for you. Perhaps they will tie into the oracles, perhaps they will not, but we will see. Show me the collective, Spirit. What other messages do you have for the collective? Show me the collective. I see that the message of expansion, of awakening, remembering, thinking outside the box, thinking, oh, these things don't seem like they can exist simultaneously, perhaps, that these things don't necessarily fit together. Something in your crone card seems like, looks dark, it looks dirty, it looks like complicated, it looks like chaos. I'm not sure how this would fit, but yet Spirit's showing, stretch out your hand. Stretch out your hand, because that thing that you're fearing may be the very thing that brings you light. May be the very thing that brings you awakening and expansion. Show me the collective, Spirit. What message do you have for the collective and those energies that are tuned in? Two more. Ten of Swords, King of Wands, Knight of Wands, Justice. Okay. Okay, so Ten of Swords. I've been carrying this energy of resistance, of blockage with me. I've been carrying this burden. King of Wands, I've wanted to put my energy towards this, but I'm still holding back because it's in the reverse. Knight of Wands, that's movement. That is movement energy. I have the energy, but I am abstaining. I am slowing my pace. I'm backtracking. I am not willing at this point to try to move towards this. And then we have the Justice card, and it's in the upright. So perhaps you have realized that this challenge, these challenges, this burden, I have the energy towards trying to make this happen, but I'm not following that. I want to move towards it, but once again, I'm not following that. But justice, what is correct for me? So you've had conflict in perhaps stepping outside that box, perhaps seeing this situation as something that you should reach towards, seeing it as something that could potentially be dangerous, dark, not something like maybe dirty, or it's not aligned. And I'm trying to figure out what is correct for me. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm going to clarify. With this deck. Actually, no. I'm going to clarify with this deck. Show me the Ten of Wands. Show me that Ten of Wands, that burden, that the challenges that you're carrying with you. Show me the Ten of Wands. Show me the Ten of Wands for the collective. Show me that Ten of Wands. Show me the Ten of Wands. Two more, Spirit. Two more. Ten of Wands for the collective. That burden, that obligation, that sense of a heavy load. Ace of Wands in reverse, Queen of Swords, Nine of Swords. Wow. Okay. So I know where my energy points towards. I even know it not just on an energetic level, but I know it in my mind. I have the knowledge that where my energy points towards. However, Nine of Swords, conflict. I'm conflicted about where my energy is pointing towards, about what I know to be true, but all I see is conflict within this situation. And so you're carrying that, what you're showing me is you're carrying that idea of that conflict with you. So it's a confliction between where my energy points towards, but what I know also to be true. So perhaps that feeling of I'm in this box, following along this path, I can see where I want to end up. But it's not necessarily aligning with what I know to be true for myself. Queen of Swords. Our Queen of Swords knows what is true for ourselves. Knows how to make sense of things. So Queen of Swords is very logical. But your energy, Ace of Wands, it's so heightened. It's so vibrant. Wants to move towards this. But it's rejection, rejection, rejection. Because it's not aligned. I don't see the synchronicity in it. I don't see how this could be. Very interesting. And then I just see in your King of Wands and your Knight of Wands, you rejecting that energy. But that energy has picked up. King of Wands, I know where my energy points. I know how to make it happen. Knight of Wands, I'm going to start moving towards it. And it's blocked. It's in the reverse. So I'm going to clarify both of these together. Show me the King of Wands and the Knight of Wands. Because it's a blocking of energy. It's not moving towards it. Show me the King of Wands and the Knight of Wands for the collective spirit. Show me the King of Wands, the Knight of Wands. Show me the King of Wands, the Knight of Wands. What's on the split? Let's see. Strength. So we can use strength for us or against us. We can use strength to block, or we can use strength to pull in. Page of Swords in reverse. So, smallest of knowledge. I'm not really sure about this because it's in the reverse. Not really sure about this decision of not moving forward. Show me the King of Wands, the Knight of Wands, Spirit. King of Wands, Knight of Wands. Lack of forward momentum. One more. King of Wands, Knight of Wands. King of Wands again. You're showing me it again. Page of Pentacles. I don't know how to bring this forward. I don't know how to bring this into my reality. Three of Wands. I don't know the direction to go on this. Wow. Two of Swords. I'm undecided. Interesting. I have a decision to make, but despite what my energy feels, I don't know how to bring it into my reality, my 3D world. And I don't know that I have the energy to do so. I'm at a crossroads. And there's a decision that needs to be made. So what I'm seeing is just a lot of resistance here. But then we have the Justice card. So Looks like a questioning or perhaps a decision of what is correct for me. Let's see justice for the collective. Let's see justice. Let's see justice for the collective spirit. Show me justice. Show me justice. What's justice in this situation for the collective? So much hesitation, so much burden, so much obligation, so much resisting of energy. I don't know how to move towards this. I don't know how to bring it into my 3D reality. I'm conflicted. Show me justice. What's correct? What is correct for the collective? One more, Spirit. Show me justice. The Hanged Man, the Tower, the Hermit. Okay, so Hanged Man, Tower, Hermit. That's a lot of reflection. All three reflection cards in tarot. Hanged Man. Right now I don't know what to do, so everything's gonna be suspended. I'm going to not really do anything right now. And then the Tower occurs. Tower they can be different sizes. Some can be monumental. Some can be a little bit smaller. But they represent some kind of transformative energy. So it could be knowledge. It could be a situation. It can be insight that's been received. And what I'm seeing is your Tower represents, for the collective, I need to think about and go within about what is correct for me in the Hermit. So the Hermit is a deep internal reflection. It is, I'm going to go within myself and really try to come to some kind of understanding, some kind of insight. So reflection, 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 represented in all three of these cards about what is correct and just for me. So still no action. It's actually in a state of suspension in your Hanged Man. There's going to be an insight that, you know what, I really need to think and go within myself and dig deeply within myself to determine what is right for me. So excellent. I mean, it's maybe not moving towards where your energy is pointing you towards, but it is moving you towards deep inner reflection and some transformative understanding or thought, which I also see represented in awakening and expansion. So I'm not sure, you're not showing me what's going to happen in this Tower moment. Perhaps it hasn't happened yet. This might be predictive. But I'm glad to see that you're coming to a space of, I need to understand what is correct for me in this situation, and I'm willing to dig deeply to suspend all action and to really go within myself to determine what is just, what is correct for me in this situation. Can I reach towards this? Can I think outside the box? Can I see potential synchronicity synergy among these different elements that don't really look like they align. So that's good. That's excellent, collective. That you're willing to look within yourself, possibly remember the core of what you desire, possibly have awakening and expansion. All I'm seeing is your energy points towards something and you are blocking it. My energy's there, but what I know to be true is different than where my energy points. Right here. Ace of Wands, Queen of Swords, Nine of Swords. The energy is there. I know where my energy points. But it's not what I thought. It's not what I thought it should be, and I'm going to block it. Then we come over to your King of Wands, your Knight of Wands in reverse. And it's all blockage, all in the reverse. King of Wands. So we've now elevated from our Ace of Wands. King of Wands. I know what's correct. I know exactly where I want to point my energy towards. I know exactly what I want to make happen in my Page of Pentacles. And I know where my energy points towards, the path that I want to move towards in my Three of Wands. But it's all in the reverse, which tells me blockage. And it's attached to a decision, Two of Swords. Then we come over to Justice, what is correct for me. The Hanged Man, the Tower, the Hermit, all reflection. All deep, deep reflection. Trying to understand what is correct for me. That decision. And then Spirit is showing, have an outstretched hand, reach towards what is bright, what is light, even in what may seem like darkness, the medallion. Think outside the box. Notice that there might be synchronicity in what you may see as dark. Because there could be synchronicity in there, synergy among all of these different elements. But it's going to require awakening and expansion. We'll see what advice Spirit has for you. What advice do you have for the collective, Spirit? It's been beautiful. It's like the human experience. We tend to reject or block those things that we haven't had in our mind already, that look different perhaps than what we thought would be true for us. It's hard to grasp onto something that doesn't look like what we thought it would look like, or what makes sense to us, what we can actually bring into our 3D world. I get this. I get this. This is the human experience. But oftentimes those experiences are what is prompting that awakening and that expansion and that remembrance of what's at the core of what you desire. What's that jewel that's in the middle of the box that perhaps you've been confining yourself towards or within? What's the core? What's that ultimate desire or jewel that you're trying to get at, that you're trying to arrive at? The decision is yours, the Two of Swords. Any advice, Spirit, for collective? What advice, what final advice do you have for the collective tonight? Once again, thank you for being here. What advice do you have for the collective? Any final advice for the collective? The end of a tough cycle approaches. Yeah, this looks like it's been rough for you. Nine of Swords, this blockage, indecision. Okay. Luck is on your side. Be bold and make the first move. So be bold in this decision. Luck is on your side. We have Sagittarius. Meditate and contemplate. So yeah, I see that reflected in your Hanged Man, your Tower, and your Hermit energy. We have Pisces here. Meditate and contemplate. We also have Capricorn. And your commitment is being tested. Interesting. Your commitment is being tested. So how much do you want that jewel that requires you to think outside the box, that may require you to hold something dear that you hadn't thought before, but it actually has all the elements attached to it? How badly do you want to reach for that medallion that's in the midst of the darkness, but it's surrounded by light? Your commitment is being tested. Very interesting. I feel like there's one more deck that I should pull from. I'm going to pull from this new Spirit messages that I have. Spirit, one final message for the collective. What message do you have? Just one. Just one. Even though I know I shouldn't place constraints on Spirit, but what messages do you have for the collective to end this reading? No, and there was two. Don't place limits upon yourself. You are an infinite being with unlimited potential. You can have and be anything you want. Don't hold yourself back or allow anyone else to. This is your life. Live your truth and remain heart-centered at all times. So don't place limits upon yourself. Don't live within that box. And then the other one, you need to ignore what everyone else is doing and achieving. Your life is about breaking your own limits and outgrowing yourself to live your best life. You are not in competition with anyone else. Plan to outdo your past, not other people. Very interesting. We have a serpent here. And I think this is speaking to that awakening energy, that awakening message, that expansion message that we received. Your life is about breaking your own limits and outgrowing yourself to live your best life. Plan to outdo your past. That's beautiful, collective. So basically what I'm seeing is break past those limits that you've placed upon yourself You are an infinite being with unlimited potential. You can have and be anything that you want to be. Don't hold yourself back or allow anyone else to. This is your life. Live your truth. So we saw that truth in your Queen of Swords, your Ace of Wands, all that energy that you are blocking. Live your truth and remain heart-centered at all times. And actually, what I find very interesting about all of your cards, there's no heart in here. And so perhaps that's a message for some of you. Start reaching within your heart. Dig within your heart. Live your truth and remain heart-centered at all times. So perhaps we're not digging enough into that heart space, which would allow us to think outside that box, to actually reach for the jewel, the beauty that we see or that we find in the center, to reach for what may seem like darkness, but surrounded by light, what may seem like something I can't really withhold, something I can't really hold in my hand and see the synchronicity, see the synergy in, but Spirit is encouraging you. Perhaps if I actually put my heart space into this, the missing element, I have the energy, I have the knowledge, I have the practicality, the pentacles, but if I pull my heart in, perhaps things will synchronize. Perhaps there will be that synergy. This is really beautiful. I encourage you to step into yourself. I don't like this word of quote unquote being tested. This card says your commitment is being tested. I think more so what's being tested is you. How much are you willing to dig in within yourself to understand your heart space and to incorporate that into your energy, into your 3D reality and your pentacles, into your swords, your knowledge, your understanding, your insight? How much are you willing to bring in that heart space, not place limits upon yourself, because you remember that you are an infinite being with unlimited potential. You can have and be anything that you want to be. Don't hold yourself back. This is your life. Live your truth and remain heart-centered at all times. This is beautiful, collective. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope this helped you. Take care.